Hey everybody, this is Hollywood 97. This is welcome to the inaugural episode. I'm X-Man. Guys, the rest of you guys can introduce yourself.
Phantom Magic.
Hey guys, my name is Rand Proxy.
Reaper C.
All right, and today's movie we are talking about is The Founder, starring Michael Keaton, Nick Offerman, and Linda Cardinelli from 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go first?
I'm gonna just say this. I
Mhm.
was not expecting this. I heard a lot of good things about this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I was gonna get this much out of a movie about McDonald's. I'm actually eating McDonald's right now for
Mhm.
this.
Um, Yeah, I'm actually gonna follow in your step in like an hour and go get McDonald's.
Mhm.
Because I've never been more hungry for McDonald's after seeing the movie yesterday. So I mean, I thought the movie was pretty good as far as biopic goes. Like I feel like what's his face who directed it made the movie he wanted. I felt like Michael Keaton was pretty
Mhm.
good in it, but he did a really good job.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the acting in general was really good.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Was
acting was like
da-
really
was
solid.
damn good.
I
Michael
really also
Keaton,
like the Ron Swanson guy. He was great also.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dick McDonald.
Well, let's talk about Michael Keaton for a second. Like he's been like on fire the last like 4 years.
He
Like
Mhm.
has.
like
Like, he
you
was
know
in
I
this.
feel
He was in Spider-Man. Like
yeah
Birdman also.
Birdman. Oh my God,
yeah
Birdman was
Birdman.
Oh
great.
crap, that's a movie I
I was
didn't get
fucking
the chance to see. Oh
like
shit.
I feel like recently, ever since like the 30th anniversary of Batman 1989, he's been getting so much love
Mhm.
from being like one of the best Batman. Like people are saying, "Oh man, he was actually a really really good Batman back in the day."
Mm.
Yeah. No, he
Mhm.
was.
Yeah,
But man, like, I mean, the craziest thing for me though about the movie just is how this is all like actually based on a true story.
yeah,
Right?
Like the
Yeah.
majority of this actually did happen. And
and
I think the thing I enjoy the most about this movie is how basically like the protagonist of the film basically later becomes the
Yeah.
antagonist of the
Mhm.
film.
I
I
really
think about
enjoyed
that
that.
story. I really enjoy. I mean, it's not the first time we had a movie like this, but like the fact that this is what actually happened. Like at the beginning of the
Mhm.
movie, like you feel really bad for the guy. Like you really feel bad for like Ray Kroc
Mhm.
because like his his milkshake machine's not really selling, and it's like the whole business just isn't working out for him, and
It
his
reminds
wife.
me a lot of this other movie called Pursuit of Happiness, where you have this
yeah,
like other door-to-door salesman. Have you seen that one?
yeah.
I
I
have
don't think I've
not.
seen that one. I
Wait,
saw like a movie about.
is it the Will Smith movie?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
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 Will
yeah.
Smith
I've
is
seen
in
that
it.
one.
He's like a
I remember
door-to-door
seeing a movie.
salesman.
I forgot what it's called. I saw it back in college. It's about like a I think it was like a film like CEO or like a film producer or whatever who
Mhm.
like at first is kind of just being up, but then later he kind of like gets success, but then kind of starts abusing that power or whatever.
Mhm.
Mm,
I
The
don't remember exactly. It's been a while, but like I've seen stories similar to this basically,
I
like how
mean,
every man.
like when it comes like cuz like I'm like mm, yeah, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, like how basically like the everyman who's like trying to make it up but isn't quite there
Right.
and they don't know where to go.
Like
One and they get it, they start to abuse it. Like I feel like those stories are just so common and another thing is like a lot of these like great minds behind like some of the biggest industries, like look at Disney and obviously
actually
McDonald's.
you want to know the funny thing about Ray Kroc and Disney?
Mm.
Yeah.
What I this is before I saw the movie, but so during World War One when Ray Kroc was a teenager,
Mhm.
Mhm.
he like lied about his age so he can enlist in the war,
Mhm.
and he was like and he was doing like he was driving a truck for medical aid, and you know who was with him?
Walt
Oh,
Disney?
Walt Disney, yeah.
oh damn.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
for real. For real, because and like I think when McDonald finally became because if you ever been to like Disneyland, there was a time like you might remember there was like a time when McDonald was all over Disney World and Disneyland.
Huh.
Mhm.
Like there was like a time when they had like McDonald's stuff all over Disneyland and
Mm.
shit. And like apparently when Ray Kroc established McDonald as a giant franchise, he like sent a letter to Disney wondering they can partner up. Even though they said that him and Disney never met after World War One, but like it's funny how down the line years later in like the mid 2000s, like McDonald was helping merchandise Disney.
That's
Mm.
actually really interesting.
Wow.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, I wish they
Is-
still did the McDonald's thing at Disney. Like, you go to like Star Wars Land, you get your blue milk, and then you get your hot McDonald's fries.
Yeah. I mean, I think they still kind of have like a pseudo partnership though, because like we still
Yeah.
see like a lot of Disney merch get into like become like Happy Meal toys or whatever.
Yeah. They still do the Happy Meal thing. They just don't do the stuff at
Mhm.
Disneyland anymore.
Yeah. Like I actually remember like way back, like when I was a little kid. Like I remember like so I don't know if this was like a thing here, but in like McDonald's in Japan though, like they had this like Toy Story 2 Happy Meal toys
Mhm.
went going around, and like it was crazy. Like people went nuts over it because like Toy Story 2 was a huge hit. Everyone wanted the toys,
Mhm.
and like McDonald's, like they would actually sell out. Like they would actually sell out of Happy Meal toys.
Wow.
It was
I mean
actually
a lot of those McDonald's toys that was sold for merchandising Disney movie, those are apparently like really huge collector's item.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think all the
There's
older
also
toys are collector's items at this point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it depends on the franchise and the
Yeah.
movie, I guess.
there's
Because
also a very similar success story to Ray Kroc's with the KFC guy, the Colonel.
yeah.
Because I
Mhm.
think he started off at like 18, as like a dishwasher at a restaurant. Then he got married. Then he went maybe into the military. Then he came back, and then he was doing like door-to-door sales. And then by the time he got his Social Security at like age 65 or something, he realized that it was basically nothing. So he was gonna go like kill himself. But just he was about to. Someone was like, "Oh wow, what smells really good?" And it was like his fried chicken that he made. And then he kind of started off that way and copied McDonald's a bit. And I think by time
Wow.
Wow.
by his end of the life, he was like a billionaire, or at
Wow.
the very least, had a $1 billion business. Kind of like Ray Kroc. He started off at age 52.
Right.
Failed salesman, living from paycheck to paycheck. Well, not paycheck, from sale to sale, I should say. And then he eventually Zuckerberg them, but he was the first to Zuckerberg them. I guess you could say they got crocked.
Yeah, but no, I was bringing up the Disney like comparison because like Walt Disney himself, like he couldn't like even like draw Mickey Mouse. Like he was
Yeah.
not an artist at all.
Mhm.
No.
But he was a fantastic businessman,
He was a
and he actually
fantastic
basically used his artist work to kind of like promote himself and his company.
Mhm.
Became like this huge phenomenon.
he was Disney was a fantastic businessman, a fantastic storyteller, but like
Mhm.
yeah, he did take a lot of like accomplishments from people.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in the comic book industry, so and the comic book industry itself is just a giant history of people extorting other people. So
yeah. Didn't you see that happened with Superman?
yes, it's a whole. It happened to like the Superman guy, the Batman people. There's a whole documentary on the Batman people, Jack
Mhm.
Kirby. Like it's a the Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons from Watchmen. It's like a whole history.
Not just
Mm.
that, also if you
Damn.
look at
Yeah,
all the things that Thomas Edison did, he didn't actually come up with all those things. There are other people that invented them, for him, basically.
exactly. But the thing is, while I was watching the movie, I was fact checking I was fact checking the founder to see which really did happen and which was historically inaccurate. Like
Mhm.
at least 90% of the movie was true,
Mhm.
except except
Except what?
Except what?
Xavier?
X? Oh God! Don't tell me he's. Oh God! Don't tell me he cut out.
no, what happened? Okay,
Oh.
I'll read it here. I'll read it here. The
Okay.
McDonald brothers are presented as the victim of Ray's predatory behavior, who eventually screws them out of their stake in the company. In real
Mhm.
life, the brothers were very happy with the huge nest egg they had for retirement. Their request for 1% of the annual profit as part of the buyout agreement has never been verified, and the brothers never attempt to sue over it. Therefore, it's entirely possible that it's all just a rumor from some of their bitter descendants who would be billionaires today had that actually been signed. Likewise, while they certainly had some disagreement with Ray, their split was mutual decision and they never expressed any regret about it. In 1984, Dick even ate the ceremonial 50 billionth burger McDonald's sold.
Mm.
Wow.
So it wasn't
Wow.
like they never got rich. They were just like, okay, we got our money, now we can just retire.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they
I mean,
use that money for
today,
retirement, I'm guessing.
in
Yeah.
today's dollars amount, they would have about like 6 million or
Billion.
something, and
Yeah.
they could have
Mhm.
invested that or done a lot with it because
Yeah.
back then you get a hamburger for 15 cents. So imagine what you
Yeah.
could get with $1 million each.
Mhm.
And you know what's so fun? When I was watching the movie last night, like in the beginning, like I was just looking at the novelty of how much like a burger costs $35, like 35 cents for a burger,
Mhm.
and I was just like, God damn! And I just paid $9 for a burger at McDonald's like a week ago.
Me and my I was watching the movie with a friend. Yeah, me and my friend were actually talking about that. She was like, "God damn, what has inflation done to us?"
Oh
Yo,
yeah, no,
like
inflation
It's
went
actually
crazy.
quite
Oh, yeah,
interesting.
inflation like crazy nowadays.
Yeah.
So I've taken a lot of economics classes, and because I study finance and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And one of the lead indicators globally for tracking inflation is
Mhm.
called the McDonald's inflation calculator or something.
wow,
So, or McDonald's inflation index, and it's a real thing. You can look it up, and it basically tracks the price of a Big Mac
wow,
in every single country because McDonald's is all over the world. So you
Mhm.
can
yeah,
tell the difference between the price of a Big Mac in like Argentina versus Russia versus anywhere else, and
Mhm.
they sell them at enormous discrepancies in some places in the world in USD. You can
Mhm.
get a McDonald's Big Mac for as low as like $3 somewhere
Mhm.
in a very poor country versus in a very wealthy nation, you can buy it for like $12 for a Big Mac. And, this is four times the difference. And it's because McDonald's has, you know, uh, so much ability to track people's spending power. They price things at what, people consider affordable. So it's really dependent upon where they are for how much they're able to sell things at.
Right.
Mhm. Mm.
That's actually really interesting though. Yeah. Because yeah, like around the world, like it's gonna definitely the price is definitely gonna change, and it's kind of like impossible to get that ideal standard that the movie was trying to push, where the McDonald's is gonna like every McDonald's gonna be like the same. Like you can't do it because like 'cause I know like in McDonald's in Japan, like there's special like there are some things you can get in McDonald's in Japan that you can never get here.
Mhm.
Like they have the like a big one is the shaka shaka chicken that they call it over there. It's like this chicken that you put in a bag and you put like this powdered cheese on it and you shake the bag in and then the chicken will be like frosted with these like this like powdered cheese and it tastes really good.
Oh wow, that
wow.
sounds delicious.
No, it's
Like
amazing.
when
It's great. And the chicken that they give you is like it's like a really good chicken. Like it's not like a chicken nugget. It's like an actual like a properly made fried chicken.
when
What?
I went to when I
Yeah.
went to
Damn, that's
Japan,
awesome.
when I went to Japan, I was and had McDonald's there. I was just like, wow, like the chicken nugget tastes so fucking different here. Like it tastes a little better than it is in the U.S. Like what's going on
Yeah,
here?
I know. It's like more like it's usually like more how do I say like more
Assimilated.
Yeah, assimilated. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Like,
they also
more
have
rich.
these. They also have like this like dessert. I forgot what it's called. I think it's so there's like this character in Japan called the I think it's like called like the egg guy or whatever, like the guratan guy or something.
Oh, Gudetama.
Gurutama, yeah. So they had a Gurutama like ice cream there too. Like I had that once, and that was also pretty good.
Dude, there's like a Japanese restaurant not far from where I live, and I ordered it. I ordered it had this type of chicken nugget that's kind of look like it kind of looks more like the Chick-fil-A chicken nugget.
Right.
I had one bite of it. Oh my god, that was probably the best chicken nugget I ever had from anywhere. Like
Mm.
it looked like I forgot what it was called, but it looked like Chick-fil-A chicken nugget. One taste of that, nothing compared to it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
that
mean,
was just-
what they were really right about McDonald's. Like, it's very American sounding. It's more globally recognized than
Yeah,
like
no,
Yeah.
Christian
I love
Cross.
the final like line where, well, not the final line, but basically when he says like the reason why Ray Kroc was so obsessed with it was mainly because of the name.
yeah,
Like
Uh-huh.
McDonald's.
Yeah, I
McDonald's.
mm-hmm.
It's such a unique name that you can't really like you can't really copy it. Like every other place you see like, Burger King or like Five Guys, like those they don't have the same charm as McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
I think there are
I
two
felt
things Ray was wrong about. I don't consider McDonald's a place for burgers. I think of it as a place for fries because they have the best
Yeah.
fries, and there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
place
like
else.
I'm not even eating a
Close.
burger. I'm eating a chicken sandwich right now.
like personally, I think Wendy's got the better at that than McDonald's. I felt like some of the McDonald's food, and I felt like some of the dialogue was taking shots at Wendy's and Burger King and
Hmm.
White Castle, which predated McDonald's. I'm just like, is this a shot? Is
It
this a
might be.
taunt?
It might be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
again, like Ray Kroc, he said that he said that basically the main reason why he liked McDonald's was because of the name. Like he thought it was like super creative and super like unique, and it sounds so America.
and
Also,
it's like
mhm. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I guess it's like I guess when when Burger King had White Dine with a Clown, when you can eat with a king, and they took that. They're like, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my god. But yeah, like when you hear McDonald's, I guess I'm just kind of looking at it from a perspective of today. But when you hear McDonald's, everyone knows what that shit is, and that name is probably one of the most, not even one of the most, the most revolutionary name in the food industry.
Yeah.
This
So American.
McDonald's literally changed the food industry.
Mhm.
The food industry
like,
was
yeah,
never
it's
the
like-
same after.
Because I think every person I think just about every person in the world has at least had McDonald's once. in their
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh
And I
yeah, I
remember,
mean
like,
they
as a
feed a
kid, like,
billion people a day.
Like as a
Yeah.
kid, like if you put yourself in like perspective of a little kid, like whenever like you drive past a McDonald's or like go past McDonald's, you're like, oh, I want to go to McDonald's. Like I want McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like I remember like as a kid, I remember when I was like really little, like whenever like I think whenever my mom would drive me and my sister to my grandparents' place or whatever, like my sister would always want to stop by McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's actually a really funny story. So every time we stop by McDonald's, my sister would always order a hamburger. She takes one bite and then she's like done.
Wow.
I'm like, and my mom was like, "Why would you order a hamburger if you can't finish it?" And she's like, "I just want a hamburger."
Oh my
It's a
god.
small hamburger. Those things are usually small.
Yeah, but okay. To be fair, my sister was like 2 or 3 years old at the time, so like,
Okay.
yeah, she was really little. Like this is when we were like really little, but
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, we used to like go to like whenever like we would go on like a trip to like our grandparents' place or whatever, like we would always like almost always stop at McDonald's. And hell, every time I go to Japan, like every time like I go to Japan to visit family or whatever,
Mhm.
we at least go to McDonald's like once. It's
Hmm.
You can't
You
avoid it.
know,
Like, you just can't avoid it.
you,
It's
you know what's
It's
funny when he mentioned that at the end of the movie that McDonald's such an American name, like if I flash back to that one scene in Pulp Fiction with
Mhm.
where Bruce Willis' character is driving in the taxi cab, and like the taxi cab driver asks him what his name means, and he was like, "I'm American. Our name don't mean shit." I was just like,
Yeah,
he just
okay.
yeah
Yeah, okay.
yeah
No, but it's
yeah
just so interesting to think about. And also, look here in Manhattan, Phantom. You cannot. There is a McDonald's on every other block here in any big city. Any big city you
yeah.
go to, there's gonna be a McDonald's on every other block.
The,
It's
yeah.
the
You
yeah.
remember that
McDonald's by
giant McDonald's at Times Square? I mean, it's sadly it's gone, but like that was like a huge deal too.
Yeah.
the
That
McDonald's
was
by
literally a tourist site.
Mhm.
Not only
Yeah.
that, here's one
the
important thing. So McDonald's is the only fast food franchise that really spends a lot of money on like research and development and
Mhm.
where they need to actually like put their stores because it is important where you put your stores. You got to find out where they have the highest foot
Yeah.
Yeah.
traffic, what their
Mhm.
income is, how many people do construction in the area, that sort of thing. But
Mhm.
if you look at Burger King and all these other fast food franchises, they probably spend close to $0 on it.
yeah
You know
Yeah,
why? They
because
you
just
know
like
say, put your store across the street from the McDonald's, put your store next to the McDonald's. They did the research for you. They picked the best spot.
actually that makes sense because by my grandmother's house there is a McDonald's across the street from a Wendy's, across the street from a KFC, across the street from a Popeyes,
yeah,
all in one block. No joke. And
no,
down and all
yeah,
the way down the block, there's a fucking Burger King all the way there. He's not
oh my
part of the
god.
family, but he's always around. When
You know
you're
what's
headed
funny though?
into
Like, speaking of, like Burger King though, like what I find really funny is like, so as someone who currently lives in Manhattan, like
Mhm.
the
yeah
only Burger Kings I know of in Manhattan right now are there's like two in like 34th Street, and that's about it.
yeah
Mhm.
And not even
That's
that far
true.
apart from each other. Like there's one, I think like yeah, on 34th and 7th Avenue or something.
Mhm.
hmm
Like a few blocks down from the McDonald's on 42nd,
Yeah.
and then another one like in like 34th around like 6th or 5th Avenue, like the one that's in like a basement or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one we go to.
Yeah,
The one by
like that,
GameStop.
those are the only two Burger Kings I know, and that's in New York City. Like I don't
Yeah.
know any other Burger
Now
Kings.
there's a bunch of Burger Kings in Brooklyn. Like I said, there's one not far from my grandma's house. There's actually one not far from where I live. If you go like up the block, it's a little bit further from where the Wendy's is. And
Mhm.
there's
Ah,
like there's a whole bunch. Oh, but Chris, what you were saying about how they were playing the McDonald's, one scene that I found super interesting is when, like near the beginning, when he was drawing in the chalk and like have everyone test out the speed time.
That was
I thought
cool.
that, yeah, I
That was
thought
Yeah.
that was
So
awesome.
super
That was
so
interesting.
very
that scene.
interesting.
no,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I want to talk about that actually. Like the whole like
Yes.
speed system. I think that's actually really interesting too because
yeah,
so I never worked in fast food, but
mhm,
I do work in like in retail, and in a way like I don't want to say it's the exact same, but like they're like in the end like the goal is to get everything done as quickly as possible. So
Yeah.
everything has to be like kind of like done in like a simple matter, and you need to like just memorize like all the all the techniques and like all and like how to do everything.
Yeah,
all
so
the
this
training.
part of it originates from it's called the conveyor belt. So
Mhm.
basically you have a long belt of things and they just come down and you have several people lined up along the belt. And what their job is to do is maybe, to like screw something on or clip
Mhm,
two things together or put a thing on top of it or bag it. There are many different tasks along the conveyor belt, but the idea is that you have one person who specializes in doing one thing to an
right.
incomplete product. Uh, maybe your job is, again, like I said, to put a screw in it or, something like that.
Mhm.
But you have this belt always moving, always moving, always moving. And it's the same way. They took the conveyor belt uh, idea and put it in the restaurant where you just have one person to do, the patties, just one person to do the pickles, one person to do mustard, another person to do ketchup. It's very
Mhm.
different than how traditional diner restaurants kind of run, where you have a chef who has to do all those different steps.
Yeah.
People are able to do things much faster when they only have to do one specialized task that they're good at, and then they get better at it over time.
Yeah. And another thing that I found really cool is just how fast food became, well, fast food. And what I loved about that is it started out with the speedy system. It's literally fast food. It literally just comes to you immediately.
The only
Especially back then. I don't know. I just thought that was really cool.
the only thing that's inaccurate about that's actually one of the few inaccuracies in the movie is was the speedy system. Like the McDonald brothers, they did create the speedy system, but the whole idea of a fast food restaurant, that wasn't completely their idea, because White Castle was kind of doing a system like that back since the 1920s.
Mm.
Mm.
But like McDonald's just kind of like White Castle probably invented that system, but McDonald were the one that
Populi.
perfected it.
Yeah,
So
they
Yeah,
they
perfectly.
revolutionized it basically.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean,
they pretty much Roy Kroc them naturally.
it might not have been the burger necessarily that was selling again. I think who was very important was that I forget his name. It was the guy who basically told him to purchase an empty plot of land, then
But
find someone who wants to lease it, versus find someone to have a franchise. Basically, I think that was probably the more revolutionary one because these franchises weren't very profitable. You essentially want to be the landlord for the franchise, and also find someone who's a good manager.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, even today, it's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, there are definitely lots of people that have gotten, pretty rich off of owning McDonald's. I mean, I think for each one you own, you probably make like $100,000,
Oh
$150,000.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Because
Um
yeah,
with the amount of sales they do like 1.4 million each
Mhm.
store in sales a year.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember like actually like a while back, like way back, like my dad had me and my sister like invest in companies. And he's
mm,
like,
Ooh.
oh, he was like choose 3 companies to invest in, or he was like, or he like I think for me he actually mostly like chose it for me because he thought like I would like these companies. So for me,
mm,
I know I think we both invested in McDonald's. My
mm,
sister also invested in Starbucks. I think actually maybe it was just 2 companies. So there was McDonald's for both of us, and my dad also invested in Nintendo at the time, which was a terrible idea. But
Mm.
yeah.
Mhm.
oh my
No.
god, like that actually was like that was a massive letdown. But um, yeah, like McDonald's was really good. My sister invested in Starbucks. That was actually really good too. Like Starbucks was huge.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not, Nintendo was a flop.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
yeah,
was like that was a very bad year for Nintendo because like that was like when the tsunami hit.
Mhm.
So like because the tsunami hit like right around when the 3DS was supposed to come out,
yeah.
and the tsunami and the earthquake kind of just like hindered those sales. So yeah, that was like just a bad year for Nintendo.
This the
Mm.
thing is, I just want to talk about the movie being a biopic.
Hmm.
The thing is, hmm?
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
the, uh, the thing is, like, I'm not the biggest fan of biopics because they make so many controversial changes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, for example, like the Nina Simone biopic with Zoe Saldana. I have like a lot of big problem with that, but
mhm,
for different reasons. Or the NWA biopic. But what I like about this one is that this is kind of like was such a safe biopic to do,
mhm,
because really some of the changes was just to, because it's still a movie, so it has to be in a movie format. So
Mhm.
yeah,
some of the changes, just they changed some of the stuff to fit a 3 act structure.
yeah. No, I think this one's actually like well because I think for the most part they were accurate for the most part. They didn't really like change. to the point where like where they're clearly kind of making Ray Kroc the bad like an evil person or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
No,
they're
the-
not trying to like slant. Like I don't think anyone truly got slandered in this film. I think it's more so like they show what happened. I do think the whole like the ending where it looked like the McDonald's brothers got screwed over like that
yeah.
not being the case is
When
kind
it
of a big
turned out they
deal.
were just kind of lazy about it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
feel
that
sorry
was
for them. I don't feel sorry for them. Not one bit.
Yeah, because they kind of just kind of got lazy at that point.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
got,
I mean, also at the end of the movie, it's important to note that he gave away, like $1 billion to what was it, National Public Radio, and also they gave hundreds of million away to somebody else.
yeah.
They gave pretty much everything away to charity because Ray didn't really have kids. He didn't have kids.
I think he
Yeah.
had a daughter. No, I think he had a Ray Kroc. I think he had a daughter.
Oh, we did?
Well, he had
Yeah.
daughter-in-law probably.
Mhm.
I don't think it
Marilyn-
was his biological daughter.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
but I
think
know
it was
his wife
yeah,
gave away like most of the
Oh.
money, yeah, to charity.
So
I mean, in
like
the end, it
That's
was
pretty
back,
nice
like,
though.
the back when but back to like it being a biopic, because this is done by the same guy who did speaking of Disney again, this is the same guy who did Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
Now that Mary Poppins biopic,
Mhm.
and that had like a couple of controversial changes, but
That one,
but,
I think was like a big. I mean, that one had more changes though. Like that one,
yeah,
because like the main one I heard is like basically I haven't seen that movie myself, but from what I heard, like the end of the movie where basically the author like she sees the movie and ends up loving it. Like that
no,
wasn't
that didn't happen a lot.
that didn't actually happen in the in real life. Yeah,
Yeah, she
like in real life, the
hated it till
author
she
hated the movie.
She hated it till
and-
she died.
Yeah.
He yeah, this is also the same guy who also did The Blind Side,
Mhm.
which I'm not a huge fan of. He's also making a movie with Denzel Washington and Rami Malek called The Little Things, which should be coming out in a few days on HBO
Yeah.
Max.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think out of his bio, because The Blind Side was based on a real on a true story, and Saving Mr. Bank is based on a true story. I think this was the best of his bio film.
Yeah. Again, I haven't seen Saving Mr. Banks, but from what I heard, like there's a lot of like really major changes that kind of just take out like it kind of tries to like like not paint Disney in
Like-
a dark way. Like
Like
which,
Walt
I mean
Disney
I get why they did that because the movie was done by Disney, so like they couldn't really
Like, Walt
slander their own.
Like
It
Walt
was
Disney
like the
wasn't a
most
capitalist on a boat.
negative, like his dark secret was like, oh no, he smoked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We're just gonna pretend that Walt Disney wasn't a capitalist on the low. And
Yeah.
Saving Mr.
but no, like the other thing was like the other big deal was like, oh, Disney like swore sometimes. I'm like, I think he did a lot
That's a
more than
recording.
just that. I think he did a lot more than just that.
I want this
that.
movie out now,
No,
damn it.
there's legit quotes of him swearing. Nothing like super extreme, but like he's Thor.
Yeah, like we've seen. Like I think people are like way too smart to like know that. Like, so,
Yeah.
yeah, like because yeah, the only like the other biopic I remember seeing was the one on Steve Jobs,
Yeah.
and
The Ashton Kutcher one?
I think so. I forgot the name of the movie. It was a long time since I've seen it, but it's like the one on like how he like founded Apple. And
It wasn't like Magneto playing him.
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, it
It
was
was
like
too-
I know
it
at the
was- it was-
end basically
Kind of
like the end of the
Fassbender.
movie shows how he basically kind of like just kind of surrendered to Bill Gates.
Right.
But yeah, like that movie was also like from what I heard, like it shows the dark side of Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember that. So I was in class, and I was like, wow, Steve Jobs is kind of an asshole. And then my professor was like, oh, he was actually worse in real life. I'm like,
it was
damn.
it
Oh,
was kind
wow.
of like
They actually toned him down. Like, I was like, whoa, he was actually worse than that. Holy crap.
they did a similar thing in NWA film Straight Outta Compton where they downplayed the aspect about how the members of NWA weren't like they beat up because they beat up a female reporter back in the day, and it's like they don't like because Ice Cube and Dr. Dre like produced the movie, so they kind of took out the more nastier aspect of NWA.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Actually,
like
I wanted to see that, but I didn't get a chance to.
it was a good movie.
Mhm.
I don't think it was a great biopic, but
Mhm.
got because they kind of downplayed a lot of people
Mm.
rolling in during that time, like Eazy-E, because they did leave on bad term with Eazy-E, so they do downplay his role in NWA and the
Mm.
creation of NWA, even though he was the one who formed it,
Mhm.
and like a few of the other members of NWA, and like because the thing about NWA was like Dr. Dre, all three of them were kind of horribly misogynistic, but like
Right.
they played a lot of that stuff in it. So like yeah,
Hmm.
they downplayed a lot of Suge Knight's part in it because from what I heard, because a lot of the real stuff Suge Knight did would have been too unbelievable to like believe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to get back about the acting. Like, yeah, Michael Keaton did a really good job. Nick Offerman did a really good job. I felt like earlier in the movie, I felt like Nick Offerman played that character like such an asshole.
Mhm.
Like, bro, just sell out.
Yeah.
Just sell out.
Uh, yeah. No, it's like
Oh, go ahead.
I mean I see that kind of stuff like even to this day like when it's like sometimes it's just better to sell out or like sometimes it's better
Yeah.
just maybe change your code a bit.
Yeah.
Um.
One thing I want to point out in terms of acting, so the lady that plays his second wife is
Mhm.
played by Linda Cardinelli, and like every time when I see her in a movie, like I recognize her, but I can never remember her name, and I'm always just like, that's what's her name from Freaks and Geeks. Like every single time when I went to go see Avengers: Age of Ultron, I was like, wait, why does she look so familiar? Oh, that's what's her face from Freaks and Geeks. I did it again here. I'm like, oh, it's Freaks and Geeks lady.
That's actually that was me with the first wife actually. Like the first wife was the lady
Yeah,
from
Laura
Jurassic Park.
Dern.
I
Yeah,
always
Laura Dern.
like I'm pretty
Oh,
terrible of remembering like names of actors that honestly because I usually don't keep up with like actors that much but um yeah like whenever I see her, I'm like oh wait I recognize you you're the one from Jurassic Park.
right.
Uh,
I was like, and whenever I see Lauren Dern, I'm like, she's either from Jurassic Park or Blue Velvet. My
Mhm.
mind is trying to figure out which movie it liked at the moment.
yeah.
But yeah, so with me, the founder, I give it like a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, it's around like a 4.5 out of 5.
I'd
Like
give
Yeah,
maybe
that
like
too.
4.8 or something. Like I think overall it's like a fantastic movie. Like
yeah,
the
Um.
historical some of the inaccuracies, like especially the one towards the end, kind of like make like I guess like takes it down like a smidge. But overall, I think like it's for the most part very accurate and
Yeah.
yeah,
it's such an interesting story. Like my favorite types of stories nowadays is more like I prefer like real life stories over like fictional stories
right.
because I feel like those are more interesting. Like I think like biographies or like autobiographies are actually more interesting than like most like fiction novels nowadays too. And
Hmm.
Because history itself is interesting, even
yeah,
though most people get their historical knowledge from directly from film, but I think like it at least give people like get interested in the topic and learn more about the actual history of a
yeah,
film.
like it's more interesting when you see something that actually happened, like something where it's like, wow, this actually happened, as opposed to, oh, okay, this is like some made up story.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Netflix also recommended me. It was like right next to The Founder was it was like Trump: An American Dream, and
I heard
it was a 4-part
documentary, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, I heard it.
it goes over like all these people that like one of them was his like former bodyguard, another was his driver, another was like all these people that were like childhood friends of his,
Mm.
and they just say how he was like a very nice guy, kind of like growing up he didn't remember a lot, about people because he always met so many. He had like 3 early successes. I think it was like the Commodore Hotel, Wallman Rink, and one other one. I think it was like his residence while he was in New York, where the Black Lives Matter street is now. Uh, and then after that, he had like a string of failures, and then he had a divorce and all this other stuff. And it's a great documentary, or
It's- I
docuseries, I guess you'd call it.
I personally think Trump and Roy Kroc would have enjoyed a nice, firm handshake. Like I'm pretty sure they would have shook. If they ever met, they would have shook hand and complimented each other.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh God.
Pretty sure.
Ray, hold on. Ray Kroc, you seem like a cool
I-
guy.
I feel like
I like
I
what
feel
you're
like
doing,
there was that
Ray.
one
I like what you're
scene.
doing, Kroc.
I feel like there was that one scene where Ray Kroc said, "If my competitor was drowning, I'd go over and stick the hose in his mouth."
Right.
Yo.
Could
Right,
you say
right.
the same? So, from that, I feel like everyone else who is in the real estate industry or in the fast food, industry he would consider to be an enemy of his.
Well,
Yeah,
of
like-
course. I mean, he's a businessman, so even he said that he's out here to win. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's him against the world.
that's
And
business.
it
really
That's-
was.
Yeah, that's just
Right.
how business works. Those business is all about who can come out on top the fastest and who can
Right.
stay there, who can stay at the top. So
Right.
once you have a competitor, you gotta bring them down. No, not even that. It's not even about staying on top. It's about bringing other businesses down sometimes too.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah, I
no.
mean that's why it's just like undercutting. Everyone always wants to undercut the other person and
Mhm.
drive them out of business that
Yeah.
way. That's the way
Yeah.
you go. The customer, you got to put the customer first and slash your price. I remember I was doing this case study. It was very, very interesting. It was about the difference in the mindsets of Japanese businessmen versus American businessmen in the auto industry. So if you looked at Japan today, I think Honda is the most the highest sales of any car manufacturer in the world even today. And one of the main reasons is because after World War II, Japan was destroyed, so they were able to get all new machinery, all new equipment
Mhm.
versus the American ones. And the American auto manufacturers like Ford, their investors wanted to see profits every single quarter. So,
Yeah.
4 times a year, you got to show your numbers, you show your sales, and show how much money you made. In Japan, though, they looked at it in the terms of revenue and in terms of sales.
Wow.
So, it turned out, the American businessmen were looking at their numbers versus the Japanese numbers and said, "How are the Japanese? They're killing us. They're just like outselling us, and their cars are so cheap. How are they making such cheaply made cars?" And the reason was Japan was losing, the Japanese car manufacturers were losing money on every single car. They sold it for less than they were able to manufacture it for. The whole grand scheme was to drive the American auto manufacturers out of business so that way they could have a monopoly or at least a market share and dominate it that way. That way they could, just be the only competition essentially.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Dude, I don't know how old our audience is gonna be, but I feel like one kid is gonna listen to all of this and be like, I bet.
Oh man.
uh,
You know.
Oh man, that'd be wild.
lo-
No, that kid needs his own movie then.
yeah, he does.
The origin story. He finds out how to become a businessman through Hollywood.
I
nice.
was watching this. I
Yeah,
was listening to this podcast. I was listening to this podcast. At first, I thought it was just gonna be about movies, but what I got that day was a lesson.
Well, I learned how to be a. I learned how to win.
All right. So, do we have anything else to say about the founders?
Other than just my rating, which I agree with you guys, 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was a lot. Honestly, I didn't have very high expectations for this movie, so I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic
Actually,
movie.
I forgot to say one more thing.
Mhm.
Because I remember when this movie came out, right?
Hmm.
And so I thought about it, but didn't actually do it. When this movie was out, I thought of going to McDonald's and asking every McDonald employee, did they see this movie?
Oh, really?
Like, yeah,
Oh,
I
really?
thought about it, but I felt like half of them wouldn't know what I was talking about, so I didn't
Yeah.
ask. But I wanted to know, did they see this movie? Did they have like a special screening for every McDonald's store just to like watch the movie?
Wow. Actually, now that you bring that up, actually, there's something really interesting I actually found out about McDonald's. Actually, about McDonald's in Japan specifically.
Hmm?
They actually had a Nintendo. So McDonald's and Nintendo actually had a partnership
Oh.
Oh, wow.
where they actually made a McDonald's game that you can only get as an employee.
Wow.
What?
And it teaches you how. It was a way to teach newcomers how to like work in McDonald's.
For what console?
Nintendo DS. It was a DS
Oh.
game, and they would like lend you a DS if you don't have one. They'll lend you a McDonald's brand DS with the game, and you would practice at home on how to like work at McDonald's.
Imagine doing that for the Wii. You could have your own customized McDonald me.
That yeah, I'm like that, but yeah, it's kind of crazy though. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy how like something like that actually exists. Like McDonald's is so huge that even like it even like has a like influence on like something like Nintendo and like
Yeah.
has
Oh
like
my
partnerships with
God.
these like massive
Yeah.
companies.
Right. That's crazy, and that's crazy that they got a partnership from Nintendo. Like,
Yeah, it's
because
also like funny enough. I think it's actually the rarest DS game out there because it's a game you can't
wow,
actually buy.
wow.
Oh, wow.
All right. So, anything left about the founders?
I really liked how they were able to like take those old photographs and like turn them to color and
That was
show
Yeah.
those older ones.
yeah, my friend actually mentioned that she thought that was actually really 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 cool. And I thought it was
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, I think it was a competent movie. I think it was a very well made movie. Like
Yeah.
I said, I think
The
the
camera work I
director.
thought was especially good in
Oh
that
yeah, the
movie.
cinematography was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The camera work was
I think
fantastic.
the
I love the
director.
whole like, setting. I thought it felt like the 1940s for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, even the
Yeah.
music was really good in the even the soundtrack was pretty good
Yeah.
for a bio movie. I don't
Yeah.
know. I enjoyed the soundtrack in that movie quite a bit. Like there were some moments where I was like, "Oh shit. This is actually really good. Who
Right.
composed this?" I got to look into that. But
All right. So, yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I was about to say and that's all from me.
All right. Yeah. Personally, I liked it. Like I said, I think the director made the movie he wanted to make. Yeah, Michael Keaton, Nick Offerman, Laura Dern, it was well acted and everything. And yeah, it taught me a little bit about a history that I probably would never have really looked into.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, by the way, the
Yeah.
Carter Burwell is the name of the composer.
Okay. All right. So, we good?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm done.
I got everything I need.
All right.
Hmm.
All right. So, listeners, we out. Watch more
Thanks
movies.
for listening.
Hit the bell when it's well. Peace.
See
All
you
right.
later, guys.